The Dragon Ball Super villains are... Beerus is a god, he's more of a deity, and Resurrection F Frieza was kind of ass, and some of the other universe people like Jiren and Hit are just trying to survive most of the time, and Broly isn't even a bad guy, while on the other hand, Zamasu felt like an actual bad guy, an actual antagonist to Dragon Ball Super, and not someone who's just trying to get by most of the time. And in this video, I just want to talk about how much potential he really had, and why I think he felt a bit more wasted than some of the other villains in Dragon Ball Super. Moro and Gas I'll probably talk about and tackle in another video. Those two are definitely solo video worthy at this point, and Black Frieza as well. That's a separate thing, barely even yet, but we'll talk about Zamasu. And first and foremost, the first thing you notice, his design, which his design in the show is pretty solid. It's really just another Kai at the end of the day, and his eyes are way more slanted and cold looking, which I do appreciate. While Goku's black design is kind of just he's just edgy Goku, I think it's fine. And when he goes rose, it's super dope, but I'd say Zamasu's design really shines when he fuses, and that design where he's fused looks amazing. The aura, the outfit, the hair, everything about it culminates together really well. It looks amazing. Now, other than his design in Dragon Ball Super, his motivations are also pretty cool. Dragon Ball villain motivations are usually easy to understand. They want to get stronger, or they're just violent. Zamasu's motivations, I think, is where he gets a lot of his depth. A Kai who actually wants to do something rather than just sitting around is a really interesting and fun idea. It's a complete contrast to what they do now, and it raises a very interesting questions about why gods are gods, and what's the point in being a god if you don't do anything with your power, or at least try to help mortals. Zamasu's kind of on the exact opposite spectrum from how the Supreme Kai thinks, where they just let humans do what they do and mortals do what they do, while Zamasu wants to actually do something and take action as a god and try to do a job or a duty as a god. I like this because it shows a lot of depth and shows that neither side is necessarily right or wrong. I mean, it's kind of like a gray area, and it's not just black and white, which is pretty rare, at least when it comes to Dragon Ball. Sometimes, usually it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's bad and he's enslaving people, we need to stop him. There's really no right or wrong, but there is a lot of different perspectives and ways of going about it, while Zamasu just takes it to the 900th degree when it comes to just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the extreme with it, which he's the bad guy, he should be way more extreme with it. But I also think the way he's thinking about it shows a lot of depth in his character, at least, because being a god is more than just having the power and the title. He thinks it's more like, hey, I should do something about it. Then again, I think him just watching a bunch of rock munchers and Neanderthals kind of hit each other and be stupid with each other, and just generalizing the entire universe like that is kind of a why kind of a bruh thing to do. That's basically just racism, which, again, he's the bad guy, he kind of should do something like that, but it is kind of like, bruh. With the way he thinks, it does make sense, because it's not supposed to necessarily flow as smooth as you think it should. At least with the bad guy. The bad guy should be kind of more in the wrong a bit. Then again, it's like some of these people and some of these other mortals are just fighting each other, especially Saiyans, who are just kind of destroying planets and destroying each other. He does have a bit of a point, which is why I kind of like Zamasu as a villain with his ideologies, because he kind of has a point. It's not completely just boo, he's just destroying shit for no reason, or Frieza, who just is evil for the sake of being evil. He actually kind of has a point and is thinking about his logic more. He's also so delusional to a point where he thinks everything he's doing is right and he's not wrong. He's basically pure of heart in that way of, he genuinely thinks what he is doing is helping, which is definitely insane. Like, Frieza knows he's an evil bastard, Cell knows he's a bad guy, Kid Buu, I'm pretty sure, has the slightest idea, like, yeah, I'm stupid, I'm just gonna do what I want, while Zamasu genuinely believes what he is doing is helping the world as a whole, kind of giving Father Pucci vibes, which is a good thing. I think that's a good thing, that he's kind of pure of heart. His arc in general really wasn't the best like that. It wasn't terrible by any means, and it did feel kind of a bit all over the place in terms of pacing, and especially the ending, which we'll get into a lot later in the video. His arc slash saga wasn't the best to me. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it really wasn't that great compared to some of the other arcs we've seen before. For Super, at the time, it was cool to see something new, and I think the beginning was really dope. The start of it had such a strong start, and then it just kind of fell off towards the end, while some other Dragon Ball arcs, I think, kind of have a slower start and then start to pick it up towards the end. This arc, I feel like it was kind of the other way around. The fights were also fine. Some of them were pretty cool and stood out a lot. The Trunks and Zamasu fights were cool. Blue Vegeta and Goku Black, and how he had that speech. Vegito showing up in the arc was also cool. I'm a pretty big Vegito fan. He's not my favorite fusion, but he's really cool to see. And the stuff about the Wataru being retconned and stuff like that, it's not a big deal to me like that. It's like, okay, whatever. And seeing Zamasu become corrupted and slowly lose his shit as the arc went on was a good thing about him as a villain, which I think did kind of carry the saga in a way. Seeing him slowly digress into something, and it's gotten to a point where him physically and mentally is literally insane. I mean, not only was he mentally slowly going off the deep end, he was crying at a point, but also his body in the show, at least, was starting to like corrupt because of what was happening. He was literally damn near a monster. Half of his body was disgusting. It was like a purple goo. Instead of just a bunch of infinite Zamasus, it was like a purple messed up goo. And his mind was already starting to go too. He was crying at a point. Like, he was already going insane. Seeing Zamasu lose his shit as the entire arc went on was pretty amazing. Then his voice. I know some people aren't a big fan of his voice. I think it's the biggest redemption arc of all time. The guy literally went from Dragon Ball Evolution to doing the dub for Zamasu and killing it. His sub voice is pretty cool. I'm not gonna cap and be like, oh, his dub voice is way, way better. But I prefer his dub voice, especially with Dragon Ball. Like, most of the time in anime I watch the sub, but with Dragon Ball, I'm usually always watching the dub. It's what I always watch for Dragon Ball. And the dub for Zamasu's voice is peak. Him going from yelling, go, go, and going insane to, you misunderstand me, master. Like, his voice can go from, like, 10 to 2 in an instant. Even him yelling while being erased by Beerus and Hakkaid, he's like, nah! Like, that was amazing, just hearing his voice go super insane. I think even in Sparking Zero, him just screaming like, and die! Like, he was my favorite character to play in that game because of his screaming, his nonsensical screaming, and him being able to switch from 1 to 10 in an instant, because he can sound super, super chill and super sophisticated when he's like in his low tone where he's like, you misunderstand me, master. I only seek divine justice. And then he can go from, no! Go, girl! It's insane. I really love his voice. But bad things about Zamasu, I would say. One, he was way too strong for his own good. I know the Zamasu Glazers, I'm a Zamasu Glazer and Rider, but he was way too strong. They made him way too OP to a point where they were just, what the fuck are we supposed to do now? How are we supposed to get rid of this guy? How can we get rid of Zamasu now? He's too strong at this point. They made him way too OD. They had some opportunities to get rid of him, or at least, like, maybe make him a little less strong to what he was. And they were just, like, kind of like, whatever, who gives a shit? Let's just make him OD and OD. Just up it and up it and up it. Let's outdo what he could be able to do before. The conclusion of his arc, I know it was kind of like a, oh, well, you can't win everything kind of way, which I feel like Dragon Ball Super really does hammer in. Like, sometimes, like, you really just get fucked up. I mean, Goku loses a shit ton. Goku, to me, in Dragon Ball Super, feels like how John Cena felt when he came back and wasn't a full-timer anymore and just kept taking L's after L, after L, after L. Like, that's what Goku felt like in Dragon Ball Super, where he was a GOAT who was winning a lot of fights, or at least some of them, and now he's just kind of getting bodied by everybody, which I'm just like, damn it, Goku, please stop it. And in this arc, they were losing, like, they basically lost, I feel like, and I know, like, with this certain scenario of you can't always win, I feel like it could have been done a lot better, like with it was in the Android Saga. I feel like it was better. They kind of do lose everything, but there was still that hope. There was still that little glimmer of hope, even after everything they went through, losing everybody. Future Gohan's last stand, goated, but there was still a chance. With this, it's just, you know, bittersweet, complete annihilation. I mean, I like seeing him slowly lose his shit, but I don't like the direction of the ending necessarily. It wasn't that great to me. Had so many opportunities to just end it, I feel like. One way was the evil containment thing, Master Roshi's bullshit or whatever, or Piccolo and Gohan and them. I feel like Sparking Zero's What If did this arc way, way better. It did it a lot more justice. And I feel like even if you don't, like, kill him or just get rid of him or erase him, you can still keep him around just to talk, because Zamasu talking and interacting with other people was always funny to me. It was always funny. He always kind of had this comedic, humorous side to him where he's just, for the love of the world, like, he always had this comedic side. I mean, Bulma was trying to flirt with him, and they had, like, a funny scene where he's just like, ugh, disgusting Bob. And he pushes her ass, like, or whatever. Like, there was always, like, even though, like, most of the time he's literally insane and just, like, out here destroying people and doing crazy shit, he did have comedic sides with the crying and the drinking of the tea and pushing Bulma off him and shit like that. He did always have kind of, like, a funny side, and keeping him around, maybe just as a funny, ha ha ha, he's kind of funny now, might have been a bit of a disrespect, but I wouldn't necessarily say what they went with in the end was the best. I think what Sparking Zero did with even giving Gohan a lot more time to shine in Sparking Zero's What If was amazing. To me, it fixed that arc amazingly, wrapped it up with a neat bow and everything. But Zamasu, in general, as a villain alone, was a great villain. His arc is what I feel like dragged him down a bit. But that's gonna be for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one and me talking about the GOAT, the God himself, Zamasu. Him as a villain, he's one of my favorites. But he's not my actual favorite. My actual favorite is still Frieza, but Zamasu's pretty close. At least in Super, he's probably my favorite. But that's gonna be for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. If you want to let me know another idea or something you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna be for this video, guys. I said that like fucking 3 times now. But that's gonna be for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Peace.